a box at the bottom that it says, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy, abide by our community guidelines. I couldn't even see that. Y'all. Had to come in here before we started because I don't want to have to come halfway through, you know? I'm glad that these people are really nice because I've had to come in here twice already to use the bathroom while working. Oh God, I keep kicking that road too. I probably should fix it. Yo, it made me so mad. I go live and my whole screen was black. There was no, I could see me, but there was no comment section. So I had to stop and start over. So if you'd hear what I said earlier, I went into the library to get a damn library card and they said, girl, we can't give you no card because you owe us $20. I said, well, damn, I'll be back another day. Yeah, they only take cash. So I'm not running to the ATM and dealing with all of that today. I ain't got time. I've been busy as hell. Oh, and I got stuff to do this afternoon for my truck. I wish that I could figure out how to get y'all like right there. But this damn thing, sorry. It's not working with me. It's working against me. I don't like it. There we go. Something like that. Is that gonna work? Listen, I know. Just work with me, okay? First of all, I'm gonna unplug you and see if that helps. I was trying so hard. First of all, I don't even know how to work these damn things, okay? Hey, there we go. I think I got some motion. First of all, my car is a mess, so just ignore that, cause... Hey, Shane, critter. I'm about to just give up on it. I'm not going to be able to see your comments because you're going to be behind my gear shift. So I was trying to figure out a different placement. It's not working. I'm not going to fight with it. It's hot. It's hot, y'all. It's like 100 degrees in the car. It's 100 degrees. Yeah, she said, it looks like you rented some law books. I said, really? I said, that sounds like me. I remember when we were in storage and I found like 2 or 3 law books and I was like, where'd these law books come from, I wonder? The Danbury Library. That's where. I was like, oh, I said, well, I have the books. And she said, no, I don't want the books back. She didn't say that. She said, you gotta pay $20. Gotta pay $20. I said, well, I'll have to come back and do it later. I said, because I ain't got time today. Hey, Lisa. Sorry, I'm struggling to see your comments. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Good afternoon. Good Tuesday afternoon. I don't know about y'all, where y'all at, but it's warm where I'm at. It's in the 70s today. It's been beautiful. I mean, I love being able to like put on my clothes and like ride around and enjoy the sun with the windows down. It is 74 right now. That's a little up there. Tonight's going to be 39 degrees though. I don't know if I believe that. I feel like I'm going to be a little hot tonight while I'm trying to go to bed at like 7 o'clock. Like it won't be low enough for me to... It'll still be 70 degrees in here, which is too warm. I can't sleep. It's 65 to 60 is my perfect weather. Yeah, it's been hot. And I got that big sleeping bag too. My truck is a mess. When we leave here, we're going to make these damn window covers finally. Finally. 30s here. Oh my God. It gets cold in Michigan. Listen. those states where it snows like that and the damn rivers freeze, we rarely see that in North Carolina anymore. But I can't do that. I really do kind of like that it's gotten hotter. Over the years, we don't have a winter here anymore. It's like, if we do have it, it's for a half a month or a month, and then the snow comes, it goes, and then it's like this. It's up and down. It'll be 60s, 70s, 50s. I know spring is right around the corner. Super excited about it. I need to finish that today. I still haven't ate all my Chinese. I was getting ready for I want to talk about the benefits of cannabis today, marijuana, pot, dope, whatever you call it. Each generation has a different name. My parents' generation was dope and pot. You know, my generation was like, you know, green, weed. So, that is something I've noticed. You say, now I say dope and pot, and people think I'm talking about other substances, and I'm like, no, I'm talking about weed. But that's because my parents' generation, y'all, I'm getting kind of weird because I've had some people like ask me what my YouTube is, and I ran into this guy today, and he was like, oh yeah, I watch your YouTube, and I was like, oh God. You do? Like, yeah, okay. Like, oh Lord. I was like, I got a little red, you know. It's crazy though, because like when you're in survival mode, like for me, when I'm going through these things, I just need to get that shit off my chest. And I'm so alone all the time. I don't really talk to a lot of people. Like, I literally don't talk to anybody. My aunt, like once a month, you know? So like when you're kind of isolated like that, because there is so much bad in the world and it's really hard to find a positive friend group, you guys are my outlet to vent, you know, on my bad days. And I've wanted to showcase everything that I've been through because I want to remember. I absolutely want to remember. And I also want it to be known that this is not easy. Like, whoo. And you know, the crazy part is people still act like this is easy. It's like, wait a second, I'm still homeless, Karen. People are like, oh, life's looking up for you, I see. And I'm like, I'm glad that you can make that assumption through a 30-second fucking clip on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't negate the fact that I'm still homeless and jobless. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want to keep a record of it. I want to remember how hard these times were, and I want to be open about the discrimination that I've faced in the past 2 years, given my circumstances, for the simple fact that I simply can't afford rent. I don't see how everybody can. Y'all wonder how I'm homeless. I wonder how y'all got a home. Vice versa, bitch. Like, how are you paying rent? Because it would be physically impossible for me to do so on $7 an hour. So I don't understand how people are staying afloat. So when you're wondering why I'm homeless, just know I'm wondering how you're damn making it. Like, can you please give me some tips? Break out the checkbook. Help me with some math. Seriously, what am I doing wrong out here? Because I cannot stay afloat. And I couldn't even imagine, you know, think about young people trying to get apartments and stuff now. Y'all know you need like $6,000 to $10,000 just to move into a one-bed apartment, right? First, last month's rent, security deposit, which matches the rent. If the rent is $1,500, do some basic math. And then you got to have gas, go get your property, move everything. Like, there's so much other financial tax and secret little shit that's going to pop up that come along with moving into a spot. Utilities, you got to set all that up, water, power, blah, 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 blah. You're talking $6,000 to $10,000, okay? So I don't know how anybody is staying afloat, because I don't know how anybody could swing that at the drop of a hat, or even pre-planning if you're not making $100,000 a year, especially if you got children. I just don't know how people are doing it, y'all. I don't know how people are doing it. So I just wanted to showcase all of this because I want to remember, because I'm going to be financially stable one day. Right now, it's just a matter of when. Oh, I like to have faith, but you know, with YouTube working against me at times, it's really hard to have faith. Yeah. I just went and looked at some of my videos, and for some reason, all of my comments, you know, I posted a video yesterday talking about school and my test and stuff, and all of the comments were gone. All of the positive comments were gone. And I'm like, where did all the comments go? And it said something, what did it say? It said chat mode restriction or something. I don't even know what that was. I finally fixed it. I don't even know how that happened. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. All the comments on all of my videos just disappeared. It was crazy. They're back up, I do believe, but I messed something up. Oh, but the video earlier, they gave me a violation of copyright strike music. It is the short from where I went to school, but I used YouTube's music in it. It's YouTube the option to use their music, which was a Luke Combs song. So y'all allow me to do this, and then y'all penalize me for, I mean, and I could probably dispute it, but at this point, I'm just like, whatever. I'm not the shit. I don't have time. They fucked up again. Oops. Surprise. So when you make videos, shorts, you have the option to use music from YouTube, and you can look up any song and put it in there. And you can also do a voiceover where you hear me talking. You can even, the original video that you take, you can even turn the sound up to that. So, there's a lot of, what is that even called? Sound stuff that goes into those videos. But the only music that you can play is music that is pulled from the YouTube Creator app, which is what I did. And they still gave me a strike, bruh. And there's a spot on here to dispute it. Once again, I'll show you. Copyright. This is what it says. Look at this. Come to test with me in college. And it says when I go to click on it, hold on. There it is. Ain't No Love in Oklahoma. And I used their song from YouTube. So I'm not quite understanding why it did that. You know what I mean? Why let me use the song if you're going to give me, like, I don't understand, y'all. I don't know what's going on with YouTube half the time. They work against me all the time. They have me posted online as making $20,000 a month. I did not even make $500 last month. Yes, they absolutely do work against me. They have me posted on YouTube as making $20,000 a month. They lie. They lie. While they make billions off of other people's hard work. All I want is my fair share. Is that too much to ask? I just want to be able to pay my truck payment and feed my fucking self. That's it. Is that too much to ask? They absolutely work against creators. Not only do they work against creators, but the fact that they lie about what creators make hurt creators. That hurts creators. It's unbelievable what they have posted. And it's a blatant fucking lie. And I have proof of that. My late truck payment says otherwise. You know what I mean? I ain't never made $20,000 in a month from YouTube. Now, stripping I did, but not YouTube. So, you know, that shit pisses me off. They work against creators. They've been censoring everybody for the past like 2 or 3 fucking years. It's gotten so bad that I have left positive comments on other creators' channels, and YouTube blocks my positive comment. Tell me that you are so too over fucking censored that you're blocking positivity. They absolutely work against creators. And they always will, because they're making money off of them. Yeah, well, my checks went down. My check went from $1,200 to $1,300 to $700 to $600 to $500 to $400 to this month, this coming month, February, $390. And they have me posted, Susan, they have me posted for the whole world to think that I make $20,000 a month. And I have proof of what I say. From the creator app to my own accounts. They absolutely hurt creators by saying these lies. It's really crazy. And, you know, also, though, I knew that this might be a problem at some point last year when I started leaning towards right, you know, into right ideologies, you know, conservative, being more conservative. I knew that this might be problematic because all the conservative channels on YouTube have a hard time. It's hard for everybody that's on the right that's on YouTube. They promote leftist ideology and behavior. And matter of fact, YouTube wants degeneracy on YouTube. They need degeneracy on YouTube to entice the younger generation to be addicted to it, like the adults. So, you know, fighting videos, dance videos, promiscuous behavior, toxic, anything that's toxic. That's what YouTube wants to promote. They don't want to, in my opinion, they don't promote a healthier lifestyle. But nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody wants to hear that they need to do better. I get that. Then I'm not trying to help you. I'm here for the people that want to do better, that want to make change. Like I'm making change. Like I want to make change. You know, like it's just they work against the creators that are out here actually trying to do positive things, in my opinion. And they promote degeneracy through, you know, the stuff that they allow. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I just hope that Elon isn't a horrible person. We're going to find out one way or the other. I can't get my camera to act right, y'all, and it's really aggravating me. I think that's a little better. There, now you can see me. Yeah, that's a lot better. It's exactly where I need it, but I can't see comments. You know what's crazy is to look back at the views that I had in October when I didn't have money for food, when I was being bullied by everybody in Eden, North Carolina. Everything that I was going through at that time, you know, I get millions of views when I'm being disproportionately treated poorly by society, okay? I'm being gang bullied by a whole fucking town, get some views. But when I get my shit together, YouTube doesn't even put me out there. Point in case. They promote, in my opinion, negative things for views. They exploit creators for views. And they don't pay their creators anything close to what they claim. And fortunately for me, I get paid through AdSense, so there's a record of what I'm saying. You know, I don't know. We're going to talk about the bystander effect probably Thursday. That's kind of like the sheep effect that we've talked about before. But there's a case, Genevieve, I think that's her name. I might be wrong. It was a woman that was stabbed to death in Brooklyn in the 40s, 50s, 60s. And there was like 40 people that witnessed her get R-worded and stabbed to death, and nobody did anything. And so I want to talk about that case on Thursday, and I want to talk about the bystander effect and the importance of being able to form your own thoughts and act accordingly in certain situations. It's kind of crazy, kind of super crazy. I heard that. The real. Yeah, I don't know about Elon. Hey, Pete. Yeah, I don't know about Elon anymore. I just think that we need to just be careful. Thank you, Pete. So I'm just going to get started. I was hoping to say, but she's probably at work. And I haven't seen Laura, or Kevin because bullies. This shirt's getting on my nerves. Lord. So drug abuse is one of the leading causes of lost productivity, disease, and early death in the world. People typically start experimenting with drugs of abuse during adolescence, and about 20% of people who use drugs will develop a substance abuse. In general, drug use is more common in men than women. However, when women use drugs, they are just as likely as men to develop a substance use disorder. Sorry. Drugs of abuse and euphoria and the rewarding properties of drugs play an essential role in the early stages of drug use. After the development of dependence, and then you stop drugs at the drugs. So it's a cycle. They get physically, and we're going to be talking about opioids today. You probably knew that by the title. OUD, opioid use dependence, which is what people are diagnosed with when they have opioid addiction, when they are struggling with heroin use, fentanyl, morphine, methadone, all of these things. That's what a substance abuse treatment facility would say that they were struggling with, is OUD. So I'm going to use correct medical terminology today to the best of my ability. So the cycle begins with someone. This is saying most people start in essence, they're doing it recreationally, they're hanging out with people that are doing it, they get involved, they might do it once or twice, and before you know it, they are climbing back to that drug time after time until they are physically addicted. And anytime that they try to stop, they go into withdrawals, and opioid withdrawals are going to be severe to the point that a patient could actually die. Now, if worst case scenario, they are I found this on the web. Girl, they are extremely dehydrated and malnourished to the point that they die. So it has happened, and this is why it's important to prepare for detox when it comes to OUD. The intracranial self-stimulation paradigm So that's what we're going to talk about today, the reward system and how cannabis affects the reward system when it comes to treating OUD. This intracranial self-stimulation paradigm is called the ICSS. This is the reward center in our brain. This is this part of our brain is in control of dopamine, and how dopamine, our happy chemical. Dopamine is a happy chemical. That is the chemical that is responsible for all the happiness in us. When we get a boost of dopamine, we are in a better mood, more relaxed, happy. You can get dopamine, releases from sunshine, healthier food, and also cannabis. The brain stimulation reward, also known as the intracranial self-stimulation, is a commonly used procedure for studying the brain reward function and drug reward. So when addicts are running back and forth to drugs, they're doing this because of the reward center that is built into our brains. So some part, it's not even some people's fault, okay? Listen, some people have a lot of self-control. Some people have none. In my opinion, the less self-control you have, the more propensity, you're going to have to become an addict, and you're going to have less control over your drug use. The intracranial self-stimulation is a reward function, and what we're seeing is that cannabis can actually replace where opiates used to lay on the brain, and this reward system, cannabis, can be used to maintain this reward system. Unfortunately, a lot of people, if you're like me, if you grew up on mental health medications, if you grew up in your adolescent years using street drugs, at this point, if you've been 3 generations with your reward system constantly being in a state of active addiction, I don't know what to call it. My brain has constantly been getting hits of dopamine from some type of illicit drug since I was a kid. If you've been going through that for generations, cannabis might be a good way to even yourself out. That's what studies are showing. So, for a lot of people, because of the fact that they've always, like for nicotine smokers, like for me, it's really hard to put the hand to mouth down. After you've done it for so long, it becomes impossible. Doing that might actually cause you a lot of problems in life. And we all know I'm gonna quit smoking one day, but I'm talking about illicit substances. Let's talk about an addict that's been on heroin for 4 decades. That's literally the only life they ever knew. So for patients like that, when they come off the opioids, we're seeing that cannabis can actually stabilize them, help them get through detox, and that cannabis can replace what heroin was doing for that patient, but in a positive way. You still have the ICSS reward system being kicked off by cannabis, and it's replacing opiates. I want to talk about the benefits of cannabis while withdrawing. So when you go to rehab, they actually don't give you anything in rehab. You get no medication, you get water, you get no food, you get nothing. When you go to rehab, they actually lock you in a room and you're kind of on your own, just going through the motions of coming off of illicit drugs. And I'm talking about heroin once again. In my opinion, that is not proper medical care for someone who is going through severe detox. These patients' withdrawal symptoms are so severe that people cannot physically even take care of themselves. Patients will use the bathroom on themselves because they physically cannot even, they do not have the strength to walk to the bathroom. Not to mention, they're not eating, they're not sleeping, they're not drinking fluids. So we have a dehydrated patient, malnourished patient, shaking, cold, hot, sweating. They can't even sit still. The whole entire body aches. Feels like you have fallen into a pile of fire ants. Your whole body aches, your arms, your legs, your toes, your hands. Everything hurts. It is the worst feeling that I've ever, to this day, experienced in my life. Heroin withdrawals are by far one of the worst things that you can go through in life. It's worse than childbirth. I did that twice, and I would rather have another kid than ever go through DTs from heroin again. It's that bad. So I think that people underestimate the severity of heroin withdrawals, number one. And I think that patient care should come number one when we're, talking about the medical industry. Patient care needs to come front and center, and that needs to be that patient's well-being is all that we need to be concerned about. Throwing them behind a closed door with no medical intervention or attention, in my opinion, is not only detrimental to their recovery, but it's illegal as hell, and it's wrong. It's ethically, morally fucking wrong. So that's my opinion on that. I still can't believe that I went to, I don't even know how many rehabs, and they were all the same. It's just mind-blowing that I wanted to get clean, and that I had to take it to the point of self-medicating and self-diagnosing and taking things into my own hands to ensure that I get clean, because rehabs wouldn't help me. It's crazy. So I predict in the next 10 to 20 years, there's going to be a shift in the medical industry. We are going to see cannabis come front and center for substance abuse, for OUD. This has not been approved yet. However, tons of studies have been done showing that cannabis is a much better option for patients coming off of opioids than anything else. Actually tremendously effective. Not only is it tremendously effective with helping get through detox, but it's tremendously effective helping their reward system in the brain going further through recovery. So a lot of people that I personally know that used to do heroin, if they're clean now, you know, most people are dead. I have 2 friends that are in recovery cross town. So both of them smoke marijuana religiously, and they swear by it. They say that it keeps them focused, and you know, to each their own. So let's talk about the actual studies that have been done, because I've got a bunch, but the National Library of Medicine has a bunch of information on this, and this is on the alleviation of opioid withdrawal by cannabis and Delta-9. And this is a systematic review of observational and experimental human studies. So this was done with humans. There's a bunch of these tests. They're done with lab rats. I really want to do that. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of these studies because this has not been approved for treatment for opioid dependency, and it absolutely should be, because not only I support this, and because marijuana helped get me clean. If it was not for marijuana gummies, I might not be clean. I was probably popping 2,000 milligrams of fucking gummies a day. Like, I would wake up and immediately, and sometimes I would only get 30 minutes of sleep a night. Was detoxing. And I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. When you're not eating and drinking and you go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days without a sip of water or food, you're gonna feel like shit. And the only thing that made me feel was marijuana. I had multiple pens. I made sure I had like 3, 4 different kinds of gummies, and I got clean on my own. I put myself in my house, and I cut my phone off, and I sat there, and I went through DTs. And I would say that marijuana probably helps about 50% of your withdrawals. Well, first of all, the marijuana helps because it calms the body. And what I'm about to read you is going to concur with what I'm saying right now. Anxiety. So patients that are coming off of heroin, it's hard. I guess the best way that I can put it is that high, your main focus is on the drug life that you're living. But when you sober up a little bit and you start going through detox, all those feelings, all of your stress and emotions and everything you've been struggling with that was causing you to use drugs, all of that comes bubbling to the surface. And what we see is a lot of patients go back out and they start using, they relapse immediately because they can't even get through the 7-day detox or the 2-week detox. How, you know, it depends on if you're going to take Suboxone or not. So, you know, it's a lot. It's the worst feeling. The best way I can explain it is probably like, imagine like an anxiety attack, but also a physical, visceral response with that anxiety attack. Like your whole body is tingling, you're sweating, your hands are shaking, you know, you feel nauseous, and there's just this uneasy, desperate depression that has crept over you when you were in detox, and it is the worst feeling in the world. And nobody, like, listen, nobody should ever have to go through that again. And you don't have to. Nobody has to. So the alleviation of opioid withdrawal with cannabis, for me, helped my withdrawal symptoms when I was coming off of heroin 4.5 years ago. I would say about 50%. So you're still not able to eat. I've never met anyone who came off of heroin able to eat a meal within a week of coming off of heroin. It's just not like that. You're not going to be able to eat for 3 weeks. You're going to be living on Ensure, Gatorade, and water. So, but they don't give you those things in rehab. So, interesting, right? The only things to help you, Gatorade, water, Ensure, liquid IV for the arm, like an actual IV, and cannabis. Those are, in my opinion, the 5 things that you need. Some magnesium, calcium. There's vitamins that you can ease the withdrawals. And also, you know, each patient is different. So, yeah, it's just crazy. So it looks like while only 6 states in the U.S. have already officially authorized opioids to substitute opioid treatment, and treat opioid disorder. The therapeutic benefits of cannabinoids remain unclear, especially when weighed against their adverse effects. Now, this is abstract background. I want to talk about the study. We conducted a systematic review of studies examining the association between opioid withdrawal and cannabis use, or Delta 9. 11 studies were identified with a total of almost 6,000 patients, of whom 64% were male. 9 observational studies examined the association between cannabis use and opioid withdrawal. Four of the observational studies found an association between cannabis use and the alleviation of opioid withdrawals. So it looks like they conducted that THC may alleviate, get rid of opioid withdrawals. These effects were temporary. Y'all, I hate these studies. I hate reading stuff from the National Institute of Medicine. Can't get it out. So it looks like they've been using cannabis to brain stimulation reward, or intracranial self-stimulation, is a classical experiment used to study the neutral underlying reward process and motivated behavior. So when addicts are on drugs, they're going to find more drugs so that they don't get sick, and they get in this cycle of every time they get drugs, their brain gets happy, they get a release of dopamine. And what we see is when this reward system is not taken over by something else, aka cannabis, then the patient actually has a much more likely chance of relapsing and going and using drugs. However, if cannabis is introduced, then the ICSS is taken over with cannabis, and so the dopamine is flowing. Do you get it? This is important in my opinion because this could prevent people from relapsing in the short term. And I'm saying that these people should use marijuana for the rest of their life. But what I am saying is to rewire that reward system. Studies are showing that cannabis can be used to the self-stimulation of dopamine. Cannabis can be used to take over that reward system and replace heroin with cannabis. I don't understand, if it's legal in all of these states, why rehabs are not damn shoving gummies down patients' throats. Y'all don't understand. I literally mean that I would not be clean without marijuana. It's the only thing that saved me when I was getting clean. It's the only thing that helped me function when I was getting clean. Because you can't move. You're in the bed for 2-3 weeks. You're just laying there rotting. It's the worst feeling. And I'm so glad that all of that is behind me. But I do see that cannabis is going to be used for opioid treatment eventually. Is it going to take 10 or 15 or 20 years? Maybe. But it's headed in that direction. And it's not legal to use for opioid dependency yet. Dopamine plays a role in the intracranial self-stimulation, a brain stimulation reward technique that activates the brain's reward pathways. Dopamine neurons in the the VTA support. I can't say these words. It's in the brain, honey. It's in the brain. Dopamine releases, and it's correlated with so dopamine releases in that part of the brain, and that's how we get happy. But it's a reward system that our body has. It's the same thing with nicotine. It's the same thing with caffeine. It's the same thing with food. Whatever you're addicted to, your body has a natural propensity to release dopamine when you get what you are addicted to, regardless if it's food, drugs, whatever. Delta 9. I just think that, you know, it's all about money, y'all. It's all about money. Listen, I bet you, I'm willing to bet they got a cure for cancer. I really think that we already have all the answers. They just don't give them to us because it's not lucrative enough for them. It's really crazy. The more that medical industry, psychology, and big farm, I am disgusted. So many people need help right now. Mental health services, treatment services. And the medical industry is failing them. And has been. I think that, like I was saying, I think that people that have been on substances their whole life, they are incapable, especially when first entering into recovery, they're going to be capable of turning off that part of their brain. So that way has to be taken up by something else, at least temporarily. And when you're not stimulating that part of the brain, you're upping their chances of relapse. And that's what medicine shows. Patients that were receiving marijuana and cannabis in these studies, not only were they eased through their withdrawals better, but they reported back that they did not have cravings like they were having prior to the marijuana. So we're seeing that cannabis actually helps with the cravings as well. So these people, because that pathway has been taken over, the reward system is being taken with cannabis, then they're not wanting to go use heroin. So it's actually building like a wall between relapsing, and I think that is a miracle, because if you have been in drug use long enough, then you know that it's very hard to stop the cravings and wanting to search out that drug and get high. That's why people relapse, is because of this pathway. This is why people relapse. The reward system in their brain. This is a disease. A lot of people have no control over the way that they're living when they're living through this. Through marijuana, though marijuana is a controversial drug, it is now linked to a breakthrough medical use, the treatment of addiction. The greatest focus of marijuana as an addiction treatment is in the treatment of opioid addictions. The United States is currently facing an opioid crisis, of which is being called epic proportions. Opioid drugs include illicit drugs such as heroin and a variety of prescription painkillers. All opioid drugs hold significant potential for abuse, with some being exceedingly addictive within a short amount of time. And the first time I got addicted to drugs, I swear to God, it took like 2 days. I swear. It was Oxys or Roxys or Dilaudids. I don't remember. But, it wasn't long for, I was on heroin. So it does not take long. It literally takes a few times. And some people get stuck the first time. It wasn't long, honey. Why isn't medical marijuana FDA approved for the treatment of opioid dependency? It's because marijuana is a Schedule 1 drug, which is the most severe assignment within the Controlled Substance Act. And this assignment is due to the drug not having a currently accepted medical use and high potential for abuse. Now, we all know that I believe that I feel like marijuana is a gateway drug. Studies confirm that. If we're going off of studies, marijuana is a gateway drug. I do not believe that anybody under the age of 20 needs to be smoking marijuana. Treatment with medical marijuana or any of its components is dependent a given state has medical marijuana. Oh, that's not it. Hold on one second. Here we go. Medical marijuana may help reduce opioid abuse and overdose. That was something that really stuck out to me. They were talking about how when patients are using cannabis, and the ICSS is being overridden in their brain, those pathways are being taken up, and the reward system is still pumping out rewards with marijuana as opposed to opioids. It also said that it's helped overdose deaths. It's helped, reduce overdose deaths. Scientists are actively researching the benefits of medical marijuana as a preventative factor within the abuse and addiction in the following ways. For pain management. So that's another thing. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but marijuana actually can be used for pain management. That's why we have medicinal marijuana shops popping up all over the place. Now, you have to go to a doctor, have to get a medical card. My state is not one of those states that do that. Even if it was, I wouldn't do that. But it helps manage pain in some people that have things like back problems, MS, people that are suffering with cancer, going through chemo and radiation, patients that have, damn it, y'all, what is that called when fibromyalgia? There we go. All of those can be treated with marijuana much better, in my opinion, than pain pills. In my opinion, taking on pills this day and age, that's like a death, like you have a death wish to be fooling with that stuff. I know that some people got to have them for surgery and stuff, but living your life on pills is no at all. That's what I'm saying. I've watched a man live his life on pills, and it was sad, so it's no life. It's no life. I just think that pain pills and opiates are really bad. And I think that marijuana is a much better option. So let's see here. It says, yes, marijuana can be used for the concerns of pain management, use of marijuana for chronic pain, neuropathic pain, and spasticity, Lord, due to multiple sclerosis, is some high quality evidence suggesting that marijuana or cannabinoids may be effective. Other scientific studies support similar claims. Research also shows that medical marijuana may be more effective for long-term inflammatory pain management versus opioid painkillers. What'd I just fucking say? I already knew. I didn't have it confirmed. That's damn shame. Money. You know how long marijuana's been around? I was doing some research on that. Thousands of years. They used it for medicinal purposes and properties for years. It's literally one of the oldest medicines we still have on earth, and it's not for everybody, it is a gateway drug, and I think that the bad might outweigh the good someday, or vice versa. I see both sides. So there was a study of 176 patients who used opioids. 44% were able to discontinue these medications after either smoking cannabis or ingesting cookies containing cannabis. 44% were able to completely quit opioids with the assistance of cannabis or edibles. Interesting. So when we're talking about cannabis helping people that are receiving opioids for pain management, in pain management, cannabis is reported the following ways: preventing tolerance to opioids from climbing any further. When people get on pills and they've been on them for decades, they have to keep taking more and more and more. There's no ceiling effect with this stuff like opioids. You will always need more drugs the longer that you are on them to achieve the same high. You might start out taking one pill and that'll mess you up, But there's going to come a point 20 years down the road where you need 20 pills to even feel okay. So this is what this is saying when it says preventing tolerance to opioids from climbing any higher, thus reducing the concern of increased dosage. So when patients are using cannabis for pain management, they don't have to worry about people overdosing on drugs because their prescription is not getting bigger, their dosage is not getting larger. Used with opioids, cannabis may increase the pain relieving properties of opioids. Oh, possibly allowing for smaller doses of opioid drug. And they're talking about tapering people off of opioids because it says tapering. So pain management cannabis is reported to help greater safety and less concern of addiction than opioid drugs. And they notice that cannabis also helps clients to function in their day-to-day tasks and responsibilities more effectively than with opiates. A University of Michigan study parties reported a 64% reduction in their use of opioid painkillers while using medical marijuana. In addition, medical marijuana may help to prevent opioid overdose. Scientists examined the rate of opioid-related mortalities from 1999 to 2010 in all 50 states. When comparing those states without medical marijuana with those in which had medical marijuana laws allowing for the use of cannabis, the study's authors found that the latter group of states actually witnessed a 24.8% lower mean annual opioid overdose mortality rate. Wow. So in states where they allow medical marijuana, they have a 24.8% lower overdose mortality rate. That's crazy. Because people are smoking dope and not getting high on opioids. That's crazy. But yeah, marijuana can be addictive. People have struggled with that shit too. So, and when I'm talking about the treatment of detox for OUD and using cannabis, I'm talking about temporary. Now, some people might be lifelong. It just depends on their treatment. Everybody's treatment plan for recovery is going to be different. Everybody's going to have different needs to meet. Everybody's going to have different situations that they're going back into. And every person that you meet in active addiction is going to have a different story. For harm reduction, research shows that medical marijuana may be useful as a substitution for harder drugs, including alcohol, illicit prescription drugs. One study's finding documents that 40% of the sample reported using cannabis as a substitute for alcohol, 26% were using it as a substitute for illicit drugs, and 65.8% used it as a substitute for prescription drugs. Well, I can tell you why. When you're going through alcohol withdrawals or any other illicit drugs, whether you're coming down off of cocaine, coming down off of methamphetamine, or coming off of opiates, marijuana is going to help with all of those withdrawal symptoms, because what it's going to do, relax the patient. It's going to prevent them from anxiety spiking. Studies show patients that are going through any kind of withdrawals, when introduced to cannabis, there was a reduction in anxiety. So it relaxes the patient to the point it eases withdrawals regardless of what they're coming off of. And the reason that these people were using this is to help themselves ease through what they were going through at the time. Prescription drugs, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but when we're talking about prescription, like pain pills, that's the same thing as, Lord have mercy, y'all. Like flood in the chat. That is the same thing as heroin. Pain pills is the same thing as heroin. So any patient that is receiving pain management through Oxycontin, Dilaudid, Roxy's, anything like that, they're going to have to go through the same process as someone who's coming off of heroin. And it's going to be the same withdrawal symptoms. So the preliminary research suggests that medical marijuana helps with anxiety. THC and CBD affects the areas of the brain responsible for decreasing certain effects of anxiety. Those who have generalized anxiety disorder, CBD was found to aid individuals who have an aversion to speaking publicly by decreasing anxiety, cognitive dysfunction, and discomfort, and effects that may help a person to become more positively engaged in group sessions within treatment. So it helps with anxiety tremendously. Depression. Findings show that THC and CBD have both antidepressant and anti-anxiety effects. So that's why it's so good for the treatment of opioid dependency and other dependencies. And I'm mainly talking about opioid today, but cannabis would be really good to treat people coming off of stimulants, uppers, methamphetamine and cocaine. Studies also show that marijuana is really great with treating these patients. Depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. One study shows that marijuana may increase pleasure and induce changes to a way a person's memory function, noting that these effects provide a pharmacological right, listen. So the cannabis helps to manage 3 core PTSD symptom clusters: re-experience, avoidance, and numbing, and hyperarousal. So it looks like post-traumatic stress disorder can be treated with CBD and THC. And also schizophrenia. I was actually surprised by this, but it's got antipsychotic properties. So people that have schizophrenia that smoke marijuana, it can actually help treat their schizophrenia. Now, listen, this is from some medical provider. Everything that I'm talking about today, I'm no medical professional. This is all stuff that I found off the internet and compiled. But I don't know much about schizophrenia, so I can't confirm or deny. I just know what I know, and it's really shocking to me that pharmaceutical companies are allowed to kill millions of people every year. But we have a natural remedy for so many medical problems and mental health problems and substance abuse problems, but that doesn't seem to be an option. You know, the FDA has not approved this for any kind of treatment for OUD, and we need that to happen. I really do see, I don't know, I was thinking today about rehabs. That's what I was asking you guys. I was like, are there private rehabs? And nobody knew if there were private rehabs. So there's Passage, Malibu, Asheville Recovery Center. These are private rehabs, but these thousands, we're talking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 grand for a 28-day stay, which is astronomical, way too expensive. The level of care that these people are getting is not sufficient, in my opinion. The focus is not on treating the underlying cause. they just get them good enough to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and they shut the door and they hope that they come back within a month or two. And it's a really sad system. Rehabs are not geared towards getting people clean. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to, like, yeah. I guess I need to go undercover and show you guys. I was thinking I can. Sure can. It's kind of a dangerous game. They might fucking involuntarily commit me like they did last time. Remember that? That's been a problem in the United States in general. I actually saw 2 news articles this morning. 2 different girls went into the ER, said that they had anxiety, that they were nervous, that they couldn't eat, that they were going through some mania because of trauma. One of them had broken up with her boyfriend. And guess what they did? They involuntarily committed them, stuffed them full of drugs, and then charged their fucking insurance thousands of dollars. This is so common. These hospitals, y'all, they're not hospitals anymore. They're not geared towards patient care and getting a patient healthy. It's actually really sad. Really, really sad. And it's going to continue to get worse to the point that people are looking for private care. And that's where we're headed, because we can't trust insurance companies. We can't trust hospitals. We can't trust rehabs. It's really sad. We can't trust Big Farm. We can't trust our doctors. This is, in my opinion, private addiction treatment is headed somewhere completely different. Now, if I have to be the one to head it that way, I might be. Because there should be a stable, safe, and secure environment for a patient to go to seek medical care to get clean. And it's not like that. It's not like that. They make it a grueling, it's just a grueling task. You know, there's no attention to what the patient needs. And what the patient needs is water, an IV, Ensure, vitamins, minerals, maybe some CBD, and they need to rest. They're going to be going through hell for the next week if they're coming off of opiates. They're going to sleep just fine if they're coming off of meth or crack cocaine. Each patient is different, and each drug is different, and each drug would have different treatment. Unfortunately, when you go to rehab, they don't do any of that. They don't give you nothing. They stick you in a room and you're left on. It's sad. It breaks my heart. This is why people are not getting clean, though. This is why drugs are getting worse. Well, and you know, the switch, when the medical industry did their switch in 2019, right before COVID, they did a switch. The LGB got involved, gender affirming care become front and center. And that's really when we see a switch. So since the switch, the medical industry is not up to par with where it should be. Patient care is down. They don't have people in the hospitals. And, you know, these facilities, these drug rehabs and stuff, they don't, you know, they barely have the money to send. The Freedom House of Chapel Hill is on their last leg. On their last leg. But Lord forbid you got insurance, honey. They gonna charge you damn $50,000 for a 4-day stay. It's just crazy. All right, I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go. Yeah, so I foresee cannabis becoming front and center, lucrative, and I see patient care stepping into more privatized drug rehab centers. We're gonna have to. There's no choice. Because clearly what the hospitals and government is doing is not working. We have more people dying from opioids than ever. So, you know, it's one of those things where if they're not going to do it right, somebody else needs to step up and start opening up rehabs and getting licenses and trained and all of that. And I'm sure it's a lot harder, you know, a lot easier said than done. But I know somebody who has a rehab on here. He's got a channel, him and his wife. So, you know, it can be done. They run theirs more like a halfway house. Don't do drug detox. This shirt's getting on my nerves, y'all. They don't do drug detox. I'm talking about a detox facility. We're talking about a 28-day stay, 6 to 10 patients at a time, of social workers, medical staff, nurse, doctor, clinical psychologist, psychiatrist, you know, with 6 to 10 patients staying at a time that have insurance, you can pay all of those people and give all of your patient proper medical care and it be affordable. Why is it that damn Malibu Recovery Rehab out in Malibu will charge you $100,000 and it's a 28-day stay and you don't get the level of care that you need? And they throw you in a room and don't even, take care of you while you're there. What sense does that make? I don't know what. I've had so many friends that went to rehab like that, and I kept looking at their parents like, y'all are idiots. Y'all are idiots. Stop giving him money for drugs and he'll get clean. He sure will. Kick his ass out on the street. He'll get clean. God. Sometimes parents and family can be the worst enablers. That's codependency, though. And that shit is even worse when drug addiction is involved. You think codependency's bad. You think drug dependency's bad. Put them together, babe. And see how long it takes you to die when somebody's paying your way to get high. It ain't gonna take long. I don't know. Tough love when it comes to that. Tough love. But once a person makes the decision to get clean and they step through the rehab, that's when the whole mood changes. That's when the empathy and compassion comes in. It's cold hard bitch until that point. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be tough. If someone that is on drugs, the best plan of action is tough love until they make the choice to go over and you actually see those actions matching up with the words. Yeah, codependency and enabling a drug addict, in my opinion, you're just as complicit as they are in killing them, especially if you're giving them money and drugs or whatever. I don't care if it's your child and you just letting him live with you and do drugs out your damn basement. You are killing him. You are killing him. I could never. Circumstances. I don't care if one of my kids come and finds me in 20 years and they're like, yeah, I'm on drugs to live with you. I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, the first thing you're gonna fucking do is go to rehab, and then the second thing you're gonna do is prove yourself before you move anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's policy and procedure, and sometimes tough love is the only way to get somebody clean. My PO gave me tough love and it pushed me in the right direction. So I'm grateful to be clean. I think that I want to learn more about cannabis and in which direction it's headed, because it was a whole thing when I was in school for horticulture. Like, that was really when they were starting to legalize it, I feel like, out in California. And so I thought that by now marijuana would be grown everywhere around North Carolina. We have the climate for it. This is old tobacco land. It should be lucrative for the state. It could be. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on here. So we're just not ahead of the curve. It's so crazy because the same people that will vote for abortion in support of abortion and same-sex marriage is like, no, we don't want nobody smoking marijuana. Well, I'm sorry. There was an 11th commandment that said that I couldn't, Karen. But it's okay to fornicate with people out of marriage and have abortions. The Bible strictly prohibits. Like, I don't understand these North Carolinians nowadays. I just don't. I just don't, y'all. I don't. It don't make no sense. You're okay with the whole town hooking up and having orgies down in damn Eden, but y'all are against marijuana. Because they're all alcoholics, that's why. Alcohol is fine. Marijuana is the devil's lettuce. I'm about to go, y'all. Yeah, we're going to talk about Thursday. I want to talk about, I literally just said it earlier. Oh, the bystander effect. What is tomorrow? Wednesday. We might do that tomorrow. Yeah, the bystander effect. That's crazy. And when I heard about it, though, I was like, yep, that sounds right. That's my
assessment of society. I was like, that's right on par with how people act in society. When I heard about the case, it didn't even surprise me. It actually broke my heart for the poor girl to have that many people watch her get murdered and assaulted is just easy, and nobody do anything. But that's the world that we live in. It's the world that we've always lived in. I'm actually surprised when I see Good Samaritans jump in to save people, and Good Samaritans, you know, go out of their way to help other people. Hell, at this point, I'm shocked when I see somebody take the buggy back to the damn buggy cart, you know, to the buggy, whatever it's called. I'm shocked to see people doing what they supposed to do, much less out here trying to help other people. You know what I mean? I get shocked when people are just doing the bare minimum. It's just that bad. I heard a clinical psychologist last night I listened to a lecture, and I don't know who he is. He's older, he wears glasses, he wears plaid shirts. I sound like I'm Matt Walsh. It's not Matt. It's a doctor, and he has like a PhD in like neuroscience or something, I don't know, but talking about how society was getting dumber. And I said, oh, okay, so I am right. I said, okay. Touche. He dropped it 3 weeks ago. How long have I been saying that? How long have I been putting scores from the damn students? When I heard him say it, I said, oh, I gotta listen to this. It was like an hour lecture. It's really good. And he covers so much stuff, from the lack of literature to the World Wide Web. All of these things have impacted how people develop and how they obtain knowledge. And it's really sad that the things that are important are being destroyed, and the things that are evil are being promoted, and people are suffering because of it. But I'm gonna run. I gotta go. Oh, I was looking, hold on, before I go, because this is interesting. Y'all, they got a free technology course. You have to sign up, but they got a free technology course here. Technology assistance classes. Technology assistance will be available on days Wednesday by appointment. If you need assistance with your Kindle, iPhone, laptop, be sure to bring your device with you. I said, damn. Do I have to have a library card to do that? She said, you owe us money. I said, probably. I said, what year was that? That had to have been like 10, 15 years ago. She said it was 2021, 2019, something like that. I said, Lord. I said, girl, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I hope y'all have a good afternoon. I'm about to get me some food. Well, I got that Chinese, half of that Chinese left, so I'm probably going to eat that. But, I feel like I gotta do something and I can't think. Oh, I gotta go pay my... Oh, my God, y'all. I gotta go. I gotta go. Truck stuff. Lord, I gotta sign paperwork. I paid my truck payment, but I have to sign documents online. And I've got to call Allie and set up this account so that I can get in there and sign this extension paperwork. Remember last time they asked me if I had a fax machine? I wanted to blow a gasket, you guys. I was like, a fax machine? I was like, girl, it is 2024. I was like, yeah, I got one in my front seat of my truck, girl. Let me pull out my floppy disk in my Oregon Trail game while I'm at it. Like, who has a freaking fax machine? Nobody. I said, no, girl, that ain't gonna work. You're gonna have to send it on the app. So I gotta go do this. But we'll talk tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a good night. Bye, y'all.